We know New Game Plus is coming to God of War Ragnarok this spring, so I wanted to look at some amazing builds that I've been rocking recently. I've been able to take out GOW with both of them, and they also easily take care of all the other content on the No Mercy difficulty. The playstyles are really fun as well, so I will tell you everything you need to know in this video. No story spoilers of course whatsoever, but you will see a lot of endgame footage. If you are excited for New Game Plus, then totally leave a like on the video to show your support, subscribe for everything on God of War Ragnarok, and let's go. I want to start with a very interesting one that basically gives you a second health bar and a ton of extra damage on melee hits, even on the No Mercy difficulty. I call it the double trouble build with a focus on healing as well. So it's all about the Spoulders of Courage chest piece that you can buy at the blacksmith on your first visit to Vanaheim. With this, your melee damage is increased based on Kratos' rage, and also incoming damage that would be lethal is absorbed by the available rage. Maybe you already tried this chest piece before, but what basically happens is that when you get hit where your health bar is empty, you won't die but lose a part of your remaining rage instead. So you can fight for even longer than you normally would. So you want to have a lot of rage available, which then also gives you a lot of extra damage, and the Fatebreaker Rasp and Belt helps with that, increasing your rage gains by 20%, and you get these at the blacksmith near the end of the story. Now it's smart to use the build in combination with the blades to build up the rage faster, and of course also with the Furious Immolation skill unlocked, which you can then activate with L1 and triangle after hitting enemies without being hit yourself. Then during this window you deal increased damage and also build up the rage even faster. Combine this with the Deadly Obsidian handles, which can give you rage burst on any blade kill, and the Hilt of Graham relic for the burst of rage, and you got a great combo, especially handy in Muspelheim, where you of course start every encounter with an empty rage bar. Although for other fights you just want to make sure that you start them with as much rage as possible for that extra damage and the fact that you can use it as a second health bar. And yeah, maybe you already noticed that my rage bar is way bigger than you would normally have, and that is thanks to 3 Jotunheim enchantments that increase Kratos' max rage based on his vitality. Like here you see the really big difference with and without the Jotunheim enchantments equipped. And oh, by the way, also leave a link in the video description on how to get all the enchantments that I mentioned in this video. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of vitality with this build, which you already kind of have, which then also lets you use other enchantments like the Greater Regeneration Essence, which gives you a constant health regen also during combat. I also quite like the Crest of Desperate Heroics. With this, when your health drops to 0, you get an invincible barrier and a Last Grasp strength buff for a little over 5 seconds. So then you're basically unkillable and get some extra damage, and you will reach this point often as you stay alive with low health thanks to your rage. It has a cooldown of 1 minute, so again, it can trigger multiple times during tougher fights. And maybe you already saw it, but since you're low health most of the times anyways, it's really smart to rock 3 Helheim enchantments, as this increases your melee damage when below 50% health, based also on your vitality. And about 2 of these at the blacksmith, by the way, with some nice vitality stats on them as well. Now the final enchantment I use is the Stone Idol of Souls to get lifesteal after using a health or rage stone, which is also super handy because you wanna get a lot of health back. So you're not touching the rage bar only when it's really necessary. And that's why I also use the Runt or Restoration shield attachment. It gives nice extra vitality and sometimes let me get health back after getting hit. And yes, you see me use the Stonewall shield also for the vitality and so that I can block yellow ring attacks, so it's easier to keep the immolation charge up. And since you're mostly using the blades anyways, I put vitality weapon attachments on the other weapons and now have 333 vitality, which is almost the max and increases my rage bar and also my damage. Before we look at the other build that I can't wait to discuss, a few more things. The Berserker Resurrection Stone is the best choice for this build, as you then get a full rage bar when resurrected, so the full damage output, and it's of course used as a health bar as well. And if you go into a fight with a full rage bar, they can also change out the blade attachment for the Pommel of the 9 Realms to get a realm shift on the Furious Immolation and some extra vitality. And also sometimes switch out the Fate Breakers because I don't need the extra rage gains if I got a full bar anyways for the Raven tier gear items to get more healing. Just some alternative ways to play, but overall an amazing build for New Game Plus, just like the Dragon Hands. Like totally, if you got better names, drop them down below, but This is what I could think of. So this is an evolution of my Luna and Dragon Armor builds that I talked about in videos around launch. I will leave a link to those videos in the video description as well, so you can see how to get them and upgrade these armor sets. Like, you want to rock the Luna chest so that your bare hands, attacks, parries, and blocks deal bonus poison damage to enemies. And since you will be using your fist all the time, increasing the damage with 50% with the Dragon Skilled Bracers and Waste is of course really good. I also use the Benahog Knob, try to aim for the weak point of the enemy, and then when the fight starts, you already have a nice barehanded attack damage bonus. And since you will be using your fist all the time, I equip other weapon attachments to just increase my luck. The luck stat is namely nice for the 3 Vanaheim enchantments that I'm using to increase melee damage against status afflicted enemies based on the luck. And since enemies will have a status most of the time, the damage increase is really great. This is, by the way, also where your companion comes in, but more on that in a moment. I also use 3 Sword of Heim enchantments for more stun damage based on the defense, as you of course very easily stun enemies. Although instead of stun grabbing them, just hit them with the probably familiar Stunning Fang enchantment. Again, I will leave a link to how to get any item in the video description. Like, this is amazing for crowd control, and you get more damage by hitting stunned enemies as well. And since you will play very aggressive and be in the face of enemies often, I like to use some health enchantments too, like the Regeneration Essence. So this is the regular one, as you cannot equip the greater one from the previous build. And I use the Stone Idol of Souls again to get health back by hitting enemies after using either a health or rage stone. I think the Runt of Restoration in this build is great as well to quickly get health back when possible. And I also once again rock the Stonewall Shield, and it's in particular nice with that Luna chest, because now you can also apply poison when enemies are doing yellow ring attacks, since you can of course block them. Another thing regarding the healing is that I use the Valor Rage. Time it right, and they not only get health back, but also a strength buff for a short duration, which can also really increase your damage. But again, your companion is important too, so I like to start the fight, especially boss encounters, by applying the Sigil magic to enemies, so that I immediately deal extra damage because they're afflicted with a status effect. This also means that I apply poison faster, and what is nice about the purple buff on the enemy is that when the poison triggers, it causes an explosion that will then apply poison to nearby enemies, so also lower their level, making them an easier target. I got these Sigil punishments to increase my melee damage against enemies afflicted with hacks, and also have the Sigil arrows deal significantly increased status, so I can apply the effect faster. Of course, if you got ways to improve the builds or are using a different one, let me know. I want to highlight more in the future, and of course keep you posted when we got new God of War updates. So subscribe to not miss the next video. A like would really help me out, and check out that video on the Dragon Armor and how to upgrade it to level 9 by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.